All right. Well, hello and thanks for watching. This is my YouTube version of this Sunday's homily. I'm gonna try, I just got a new phone. My last one finally died on the road on vacation. So, brand new iPhone. I'm gonna see how it works with no mic and just see how the phone does on its own. So we'll give it a shot on the quality today. So, what we had in our gospel reading today was, if your hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. If your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out, throw it away. I feel that this is one of those gospel readings that a lot of people know and know well. And I want to take today as an opportunity to explain something more or less general about the Bible as a whole. Because you see, for the last couple of weeks, I've been doing a little extra research on the book of Revelation. It's, I feel like I don't know enough about it yet. It's a scriptural weak point. And one of the first things you gotta understand when it comes to the book of Revelation, Revelation is a book about symbolic truth, which means it is not a literal testimony of exactly how the future is going to play out. So case in point, at one point, Jesus is obviously represented by a lamb. Okay, easy enough. And this lamb has 7 eyes and 7 horns. Now, obviously, no one expects Jesus to come back, for the second coming in that form. But when you read that, you're not supposed to think about, ooh, what does this mean about the physiology of lambs? And are all the eyes crammed into one place, or are they spread out over his body? Do the locations of the horns match the locations of the eyes? Those questions just don't matter. They're not helpful. That's not what the book is about. John is providing a series of spiritual truths through symbolic imagery. And when we take that imagery literally, we tend to miss the whole point. Another example, at least in the book of Revelation, Jesus has white hair. And I think a lot of us picture God the Father as an older man in a robe, long beard, flowing white hair. Why? Because white hair symbolizes eternity. Why is that the case? I have no idea. I'm not a 3,000-year-old Jew. Don't know where that comes from. But for the people reading these documents for the very first time, that symbolism would have been perfectly obvious. And again, even when you understand that, you shouldn't be asking questions like, oh, white hair equals eternity. Does God's hair grow? If so, does he cut it himself, or does he have an angel cut it for him? Hey, wait a minute. If white hair symbolizes eternity, then shouldn't God's hair just go on forever? Again, those kinds of questions are just not helpful. They don't help us understand the text any better. God, Jesus Christ, has white hair in the book of Revelation because that is symbolic of a greater truth than we can see with our own 2 eyes. That's what it really comes down to. When you start to understand the Bible in this way, it will open up before you so much more effectively than if you try to cram it into the category of a poorly written history book. That's like saying that I'm an athlete because I own a bicycle. If I'm an athlete, I'm a sorry one indeed. And if the Bible is a history book, it is passable at best. But luckily, my athletic ability is not really what I have to offer the world. And the Bible has way more to offer us than any history textbook. All right, let's get back to today's gospel. If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off, throw it away. If your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out, throw it in the garbage. Seriously, do not do this. Please, do not maim your body in order to please the Lord. It is not going to work. This gospel is trying to teach us something, admittedly with some gory detail to keep us, paying attention. But all it's trying to do is teach us that we are called to cut off and throw away that in our lives which is sinful. So your pride and insecurity is absolutely on the list. Your unwillingness to help strangers in need because they don't look like you and they're not in your clique or whatever, that's on the list. Your love for the most disgusting parts of the internet, cut that out of your life as soon as you can. Your destiny in heaven has nothing to do with that garbage. This is a clear message for all of us. Every single one of us has a sin that we could get rid of if only we were able to make more of an effort. But please, please do not literally cut off your hand and pluck out your eye. Jesus was speaking symbolically and metaphorically. I promise you that. I know that. And you might ask, well, Father Justin, how do you know that? Jesus said plenty of things that he meant quite literally. Take this, all of you, and eat of it. This is my body, which will be given up for you. How do you know this isn't also literal? Very simple. Not one disciple shows up to the Last Supper with one hand or one eye. Peter does not cut out his tongue after denying Jesus 3 times. This idea that we need to take out our sinfulness on our body parts in order to receive forgiveness in our souls, no one in the Bible actually does that. Please, this Sunday, remember, the Bible speaks powerful truths to us. That powerful truth is present in every single verse, even the ones you don't like. But you do need to read it properly and appropriately. Sacred Scripture is inviting you to become a better person than you already are, molded more and more into the image of Christ. And once you realize what the Bible has to offer you in that way, it will thrill you and educate you for the rest of your natural life. God bless you. Thanks for listening.